Hello, welcome to the AP7 podcast. You are here with Rachel Donovan and the founder of AP7, Mr. George Helou.
Thanks, Rachel, and thank you for joining us. We love talking about how to get the heart into everything we do to get a lot out of life.
Whether it be relationships, business, careers, you name it. So, let's get started. So George has decided on our topic tonight, which is one that...
You're putting that on me straight away.
just delving right in.
Yes.
As you've seen, the topic for this podcast is...
You can't handle the truth.
What is the truth?
Yes. Can you handle it? Apparently not. That idea of truth can be very inconvenient because what we believe we get so attached to that truth is just threatening. Because say we're attached to something, we really want it to be true, and apparently it isn't. Well, we're not interested in... We so desperately want the truth to be a lie so we can keep what we think is true and happening for us that we deny the truth.
Okay.
So Rachel, have you been raised with lots and lots of influences about what this world is about and, religion and are you a staunch Irish Catholic?
I've been raised as an Irish Catholic, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you phrased that well.
I went to what do you call that? Like on Sunday school for children sort of thing, children's mass. And yeah, that was very big part of my upbringing.
I was raised with Lebanese Orthodox, even Jehovah's Witnesses, and even a bit of evangelical, Pentecostal, with a close friend. His dad was a pastor, so I went to those churches, trying to understand. And he was so passionate that their way was the way, and they prayed in tongues.
Wow.
Yeah, and I couldn't. And apparently it's because I didn't love Jesus enough.
Is that what you were told?
Yeah, that's what I was told. And I was like, what?
What age were you, George?
Maybe 15.
Okay.
I love Jesus, Rachel. And they were trying to tell me. It's like, how could I love Jesus more? He kind of epitomizes the best way to be, and nobody I see comes close. So, it was weird. It was weird to be told that I don't love something that is very lovable in terms of what Jesus represented, right?
Yeah.
So, but all of them were telling me that they had the truth, and this was confusing to me. I had Muslim friends and they were good people, but they had a religion that apparently was the way too. The way.
Yeah.
So where is the truth?
I found it confusing even from a child. I remember thinking, that you go to heaven if you're Catholic and you do everything right and hell otherwise. And I remember thinking, and I didn't know a lot of people from other religions, but I remember I used to just even think, but none of those people can be bad. And does that mean they're not going to go to heaven? And I remember just thinking that just didn't sound right, and that sounded awful.
Oh, Rachel, we're kindred spirits, These are the special questions that I was asking myself too.
Yeah, and that comes into play with, in children's minds, we're so curious as children. You ask so many questions and you're so inquisitive and, everything's a mystery and you want to know so much.
Yeah.
And that natural way of thinking seems to deteriorate a bit as we grow up, whether it's because we're told not to ask questions or...
Yeah.
encouraged to.
No, you're right. Yeah. Because as I was asking these questions, I was made to feel like I was offending God, it was almost blasphemy to doubt. And I was always told to suspend my curiosity to be satisfied in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, why did God give me curiosity if he wasn't going to satisfy it here? It made no sense to me.
But I think the truth is an interesting idea.
Yeah.
Because there can be so many varying truths. So even outside of religion, there are so many varying truths based on different interpretations of things. And, truth can be such a powerful thing because, you start to withhold truth or, to hide things to get you certain ways. And truth can be so destructive when it has been hidden and then things come out. And I even remember feeling, I know other people, and my parents as such, wanting to protect me, wouldn't tell me the truth in things because it was like, oh, that's going to be too painful, so we'll just say something else.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting idea too about sort of what you said, the truth can hurt or, because it can, but is that wrong that it does hurt? And we become sort of then not able to process it or deal with it because we are protected from it, which...
that's interesting. You've just given me a context that tells me there's wisdom in withholding truth because as a baby growing up, you can't bombard the baby with everything because the brain starts to think it's in danger before it's equipped to handle it. Right. So we actually stage what a child is ready to understand about the world, including sex education, including the violence in the world. Like we don't want them to see terrible violence before they get to a stage where they feel safe and understanding of low-level bullying before they can understand that some people take it too far and some take it into a grand scale of war, and that's a horrendous thing. And unfortunately, that's part of the dark side of our world is that our egos and our pettiness creates war. You can't tell a 5-year-old child that there are children like him that get dismembered and destroyed with bombs. Like when I was 5.5, you know this, Rachel, I saw a bomb hit a building and I saw a girl be carried out dead. This was me at 5. I'm 46. I remember that clearly. Why? Because I was too young to have that experience, and it shocked me. And then when I had similar experiences before I got to Australia, it actually made me scared of the world and people because look at what they do. So I really appreciate staging, but we get to adults, but we still have that same rule. Like we can't handle the truth. We can't handle the truth. So we're treating each other like children. Oh, don't tell her that. She'll be hurt if that guy now has moved on, is in another relationship. Like, don't tell her. Everyone's coming up with reasons why information is not right for someone.
Yeah. I still do it. And, I'm guilty.
I do it. We do it without even realising.
Yeah.
We withhold automatically going, nah, that would upset her. I'm not going to do that. Or him. But you know what? Maybe it's okay. Because when that person is going through life and they've got a lot on their plate, maybe throwing something else is not relevant because they'll deal with it in a more timely way. You don't have to cram it with whatever's going on for them at the time. So I guess timing is probably really relevant because the state of mind of someone would determine how they take that information. But it's funny, we're talking about the truth right now and suddenly we're talking about the value of timing and sharing it because we already agree it's information we need to be informed, right? Truth does set you free. You want to know what's really going on. Yeah.
And why do we feel such relief when perhaps we've been deceiving ourselves or done something and then we finally come clean about something, and the pain or the torment or even subconscious that you're in from when you're holding these things, and then sometimes when you're like, okay, I've got to tell you, and you come clean about things, that relief is such an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
Like, even though for what you've just said or done, but it's you feel absolved from this that you've been in otherwise. Like, that's powerful.
Yeah. You know what that tells me? It
What?
tells me that we're not meant to be perpetuating deception. It's not our natural state. And,
Yeah.
and it's draining. So the moment you release the lie,
Yeah.
you it's almost like you reclaim the energy that it was meant to energize you, and you feel powerful again because you're not compromised. You're not kind of contorting out of shape, and that your real shape is a purity of truth.
Yeah. Because I remember when I was, a few years ago, and I was seeing a guy that I had broken up with because he had cheated on me. And so, everyone hated him. But then I started sort of contact again, seeing him again. But I didn't want anyone to know because I knew what everyone would say. So I withheld that truth.
Yeah.
Eventually it came out, and I came clean about everything. And I remember just being so exhausted by withholding this sort of secret that I remember being like, I just was so like, this is the truth. Yes, I did this. Yes, I lied. Yeah. And I admitted to everything and took it, even though it was awful, like saying those things because I was really disappointed in myself. But the weight, the physical energy weight I felt from just and having that off my chest was peaceful in a sense as well, at the same time.
That was a phase in your life when we really connected in the EP7 journey started.
That was at that time.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I remember that. But you know when people say, it's my truth?
Mm-hmm.
How do you have my truth? Isn't the truth the truth?
But doesn't everyone have a different truth depending on their interpretation?
Yeah, but isn't the truth the truth? Like, if you think something is true and you make a decision from that assumption and then you make a mistake, it means, you thought it was true, but you weren't. You were wrong, right?
Yeah.
So, but someone else knew not to assume that and to assume something else that was aligned with that fact. So when we say it's my truth, is that really saying I believe that? This is what I believe. And we mistake belief with truth?
So maybe we're misusing the word.
Yeah, I think we are. Because it's almost like saying you're not allowed to challenge me because my truth is enclosed and you can't mess with my truth. My truth is it.
But maybe there's no such thing as truth.
Oh, you're getting all philosophical. I love this. Let's go there.
But then maybe, gosh, there isn't one truth or,
Can I try, which is a bit tricky, but I'll try. Let me try to define truth with that in mind. This idea that it's relative,
Sure.
Okay. Truth is when you expect something to be a certain way and it consistently plays out to reaffirm your expectations, then it is truth for as long as that happens. And the moment it stops happening, it's because there was a condition to it that upset the process that now you can learn about, that now connects you more deeply to more of the truth. So, for example, if I thought watering a plant kept it alive, that's truth for me because when I wasn't watering it, it was wilting. And then when I added water, it came back and it was happy. And I've got the truth, Rachel. I've got the truth. So I keep watering it, right? And I've got the truth. And then suddenly the leaves are going yellow but I'm watering it. What's going on? And it turns out I needed to fertilize it. So then I update the truth that it also needs food, nutrients in the soil, not just water. So then I fertilize it and it's happy. It's lush green. Yeah. I'm going, gosh, I'm happy. I'm going to keep fertilizing it. And then suddenly the leaves start to burn. They start to crisp. What am I doing? Damn, the truth is you don't over-fertilize. So then I learned not to over fertilize. Can you see what I'm saying? Like, truth is only up until the point that you're getting consistent feedback, but you have to stay humble to that maybe there's always more truth to it. Maybe there's a context you're missing.
So how does the truth apply to us as individuals?
Well, this is the issue of I had a problematic relationship with truth where it was used for deception. It was, this is the truth, and it was a deliberate, manipulative ploy to have me believe something that's not true. And because I trusted the person, I got exploited. So this is in our everyday. If we trust blindly, we get exploited. So what is the truth? If someone says, I have an investment for you, or if someone says, invest in this or do this or believe in something or buy this, whatever, it's like, well, should you? Because they believe it? You see, this is our conversation from before about we always confuse belief with truth. Just because someone believes what they're telling you passionately doesn't mean it's true. Because you see, they were passionate about watering the plant. They saw it with their own eyes spruik up. And they're not lying to you. But they don't know that they've only got a limited context of their experience. And now they're telling you, go for it, and there's like 6 other considerations that they don't know, you don't know, and you both fall over because of it. So can you see that if we love the truth, we want to be truth seekers? Like,
curiosity is good, yeah. So that's about being curious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Going back to that childlike mentality with enthusiasm and questioning and being curious about, I remember when someone said to me when a lot of things kind of seemed to go wrong at once, and it was more like approach it like being curious, as in, I wonder how this is going to work out, just to kind of lift out of the heaviness, to open my mind to possibilities of things that I didn't see that potentially would open up as, at that time, and just maintain that attitude of curiosity to discover new things.
Yeah. Those new things are an adventure of information, an invitation of a world that ticks in a certain way, and you get to connect to that and discover more about nature that's an extension and a part of you. So it's exciting, isn't it? It's like the more truth you discover, the more the pieces of a puzzle all interconnect to tell a story of you, why you're here, what makes you happy, what makes you sad, what makes you powerful, what makes you not. And that's why we need to be truth seekers, because the more you understand about the cause and effect of everything, the more you're in the flow as a player who understands how to move, how to be a part of the primary cause for a desired effect. Truth gets you to the source of why things are the way they are, what made them that way, and how you can make them different. Truth is the center of why you can make this world beautiful for you. Truth is why you are made to love, how to be, to have love. So, and therefore, every time you're not having the love you want, you're not having the abundance you want in your life, you're struggling, every time that's happening, you're being lied to. By the way you've been taught to think about who you are and about how the world works, there are lies. So I have an assumption. So it means my truth, and it might be your truth, and for me, I don't like the idea of the world existing without this truth, right? My truth is that we are designed and we are equipped and we are in a world where we can be empowered for purpose and live a rich and fulfilling life on our terms, where the heart is exhilarated and satisfied. And therefore, everything that looks like I can't have that world, I'm curious as to how I'm being lied to, and I investigate. And I have to tell you, so far, Rachel, I haven't found any piece of information that contradicts what I just said to make me think, oh my gosh, that's not true. But you know what? That gets on the edge of, well, what about the poor boy that was born, maimed, crippled, retarded, brain damaged, and only lived with pain for like 3 months, 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, whatever? Well, hello, where's your argument is bullshit, because what about that child? True?
Yeah.
And this is why religion couldn't explain it to me. Yeah? But this is where I had to go soul searching. I had to go so deep to understand how that level of cruelty, unfairness could exist. And so I'm about to offer something that helps me be at peace with why those things happen. That child, that body, and all the problems of that body was not that child. That child was the spark of beautiful energy that came into that vessel that was compromised and just collected experiences in that before it exited within hours, months, or a year or two. So for me, the only way I could live with myself and not feel whatever that universe, God, or whatever you want to call it, was some sadistic, cruel entity, the only way I could sleep at night was to think, wow, we are not our bodies. There's a spark that operates them that can't be created nor destroyed because it's made of the energy that keeps on changing form. And that was a truth that gave me peace, that I can still care for that child's experience and the pain and what it's missing out on. I could still want it to have a better life, but I would not think that it was deprived of forever just because I was taught to identify someone as their body and their personality and their brain. You see, for me, I had to go to that assumption to still love the world that I exist in, love the universe that I exist in. And so, but do I know it's true for sure? I can't know for sure. But if it's not true, then I better be given an alternative that keeps the creation wonderful and our part in it beautiful. Yeah? And I've never been given any alternative. Do you have one? You don't? Have you ever heard, have you ever read or seen any alternatives to the idea that whoever we are, see, I don't use the word soul or spirit and all that because I try not to be spiritual, religious, new age. I don't want to be any of those things anymore. I just want to keep it real with practical things. And I do like science and physics and our own common sense logic of making sense of cause and effect, And even within that framework, that makes sense to me. You know what I mean? That we are eternal. Now, we're not raised to believe we're eternal, though. That's why we are so insecure.
Yeah.
So is that my truth? Apparently, to a lot of people, yes, it's only my truth. But do I then get to live it as absolute? Yeah, I think I'd like to take a risk. I would like to take a risk on the absolute truth being everything that has emanated from the source of the beginning called universe, God, whatever, was a direct extension of it, never to be excluded as if there's a shame of that creation. And therefore we are sparks of the fractal pattern that continues to in that image, perpetuate the creation ourselves. So when you create something out of nothing, like you're actually emulating the principle of a dream and then being in the flow of making it something you can experience and interact with from a valuable place.
Yeah. Sounds like you've clearly done a lot of thinking about this and reading and research and soul searching, like you said.
Yeah.
Like you could talk for a long time about this topic.
Yes, but I didn't expect us to talk about this topic. I actually wasn't even willing to talk about that part of it. But you know what? It's dear to me to have no taboo topics and be able to explore.
Just talk.
But this is more me than what EP7 generally represents. But definitely EP7 does go to the edge of who we really are, and it looks at the physics of your identity, and that energy can't be destroyed. It does go that far. But for me, I kind of feel like I could just be myself and talk about any topics.
Yep.
But
that's it. It's a conversation. It's exactly. We should feel that way all the time.
Cool.
So,
shall we wind up?
Yeah, that was us exploring the truth, and I hope we've given you something to think about by listening to this podcast. And thank you, George.
Handle the truth.
Chat to you soon.
Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us on another EP7 podcast. If you liked what you heard, remember to share and subscribe so you're notified of every podcast released. If you have any questions or would like to connect with us, please jump on the EP7 official Facebook page. We'd love to hear from you.